Welcome to the Volume Measurements Lab. Be sure to follow along in your lab manual, and there we're going to learn about precision and volume measurements, reading a meniscus, and using a Mohr pipette. The first part of it deals primarily with just beaker and graduated cylinder measurements. Here, the challenge is to record those measurements to the proper number of sig figs. For some very important guidance on that, be sure to see our web page, the blog section, and scroll to the bottom and click on Lab Measurements. There you'll be taken to a page that gives you a very good explanation on how to properly record those values, as well as some sample readings. Part B is a little more challenging. Here you're going to take mass measurements with both a beaker and a graduated cylinder, but you're going to make each of those measurements two different ways. You're going to make them directly, and then you're also going to determine the volume by using density. Calculations, you're going to use density equal mass divided by volume. You're going to solve that for V, and you're going to use the values for density that are provided in the lab manual, and the mass, you just recorded the mass. Calculate volume and then compare that to the volume that you measured visually. Next, you'll make an analogous set of measurements for a graduated cylinder. Moving now to part C, you're going to make an analogous experiment, this time using a Mohr pipette. With a Mohr pipette, the visual volume actually requires two observations: the liquid level after you dispense the liquid from the Mohr pipette, and the initial liquid that you have. Remember, a Mohr pipette reports how many milliliters you deliver. So at first, your number is going to be very close to 0, if not right on it. And at the end, it's going to be very near 10. Here you take your final reading, and it looks very close to 10.00. That went kind of fast, so I'll give you the final reading for the Mohr pipette. And because the beaker is already taired, and we put the water from the Mohr pipette into the beaker, we can now weigh the amount of water that was delivered and calculate the volume. With run 1 completed, we're now going to make run 2 with the Mohr pipette. This time you'll make both the first and the final readings with the Mohr pipette.